There's an Indian that the Arizal talks about Purim. To try to understand this a little bit more opinions. There's something is Kuchibricho and Shchinte. Says in Shalichud, and Miyach Kuchibricho and Shchinte. That there's two madrigas. Something is called Kuchibricho, which is Kodesh, Muvdal of Parush. Kuchibricho means something that's transcendent. It's higher, beyond creation, beyond the world. And then the Shchinte is the Shechina. Shechina is Shechenes, Mislabeshes. Shechina means something that becomes pneumius into something. This is why the Rechaim talks about Parshas Vayechi, that there's many areas of the Shechina. Shechina Lo, Shechina Tato, the Rechaim. Because there's many different levels of Shechina. The Sukkah is done on Anifeles, and there's a Rakham Yaakov on the Sukkah on Anifeles, Shechina Begelusa. Shechina is Hashem's presence in this world. That's Shechenes, it's present. Imanech B'Tzara. Then the Shechina is the Kuchibricho Kaviyachol. That is not Shechenes, Mislabesh. It doesn't come down and vest into this world. It's always Hecheh, it's always perfect. This in the spheres, if you're familiar a little bit with Teresari, this is called Zohar Ampin and Malchus. Zohar Ampin is called the six spheres, it's called Kuchibricho, and Malchus Shchinte. Everything, in order for there to be a chayes in this world, everything needs chayes. Dvar Hashem, Asamars Dibra Olam, that the world is created, is continuously being created, and that there's a chayes in the world. The chayes comes down to this world. The chayes is not from Shchinte, because Shchinte is what's mislavish in the thing. The chayes of the order of the Shechina comes from Kuchibricho. Shchinte means and we should have kavanah that the Kuchibricho should always be mamshich oler chayes at the Shchinte. And when the Shchinte has chayes, then the world has chayes. Say the world is Shchina Begelusa, Shchinte Begelusa. Sometimes the Gemara says that Zachu, Shchina B'neim, Ish B'ishtem. I mean, sometimes you come into a house and there's no Shechina. The Shechina is in a very low level. And sometimes, Zacha, there's a certain refinement, and it's a herzach. You come into a person's home, it's a lichtik. You feel the presence of something that's high, something. You feel the presence of the presence of the Shechina. But everything in this world needs really chayas. So how does the chayas come from Shechinte? The chayas, the life force that comes from Shechinte is Kuchibricho. Kuchibricho is miyached with Shechinte. And the Shechina gives chayas to the world. It's mislavish. Following this is sometimes in life there's a type of connection that's called acher b'acher, back to back. And sometimes the type of connection is called panim al panim. What's acher b'acher relationship? Acher b'acher relationship means, if you're familiar, the Gemara says about admiration. That admiration there's two ways the Torah describes the creation of Adam. The first time the Torah describes creation is Zachar v'Nekeva bara Yisrael, which means that Adam is, the Gemara says that there was two partsufim. There were two partsufim. It means one side is Adam, one side is Chava. Maybe a zon of one side, one's half Adam, half is Chava. So how are they connected? They were connected by the Achorayim, the backside. Right? So Acher b'Acher. Then the Torah says that there was a Tadema. We have looking at Tadema L'Adam. And through the Tardema, through the sleep, Hashem took one of the tzalosim, one that sailed the side of Adam, and then it became two different people, and now it's going to be Ezer connected. Ezer connected means the Ezer. It can be Ezer or connected. But connected means that you're face to face. You're no longer attached back to back. Now you're face to face. That's the chiluk between Adam in the beginning of creation and after creation. What's the oimek? What does this mean? That sometimes a person has a relationship. Acher b'acher means a parent and a young child is acher b'acher. Why is a parent acher b'acher? Because when two people are connected by the hip, one person has to choose, and by one person choosing, that's where the other person goes. If two people are attached together, and one is smart and one's less smart, and the smarter says, I want to go here, so the less smart follows. If you have a child, your relationship is a zivuk tmidi, which means it's always connected. You're always connected to your child. You always must take care of your child. But your child doesn't have bchira when they're a 2-year-old where they have to go, where they're going to live. You don't ask a 1-year-old where you want to live. Wherever the parent goes, that's the child goes. That's called acher ba'acher. So it's a zivuk tmidi. It's a unity that's always, it's tmidius, but they never had a face-to-face encounter. Acher ba'acher. This is why it says by Yitzis Nisayim, Lech tech acharai b'midbar. He went in the beginning of Acharayim. We went into the Midbar, Yitzis Mitzrayim was, and we didn't have choice to choose to be in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was given to us. We were in Mepteh Shari Tuma, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim. Not that we chose to be in a relationship, it was chosen for us. Hashem says, these are the people that I want to take out of Mitzrayim. Lech Nechachar Bar Midbar, we were Acher Ba'acher. It was a zivuk tmidi. It was always a zivuk. There was always connection. But the tachlis is panim upanim. The tachlis is that we should have a relationship panim upanim. The tachlis is not for the child to be attached to you in the hip, but the tachlis is that you should be mature and you should choose. That Purim is kafel, that Matan Torah was kafelim hakigigas. What does it mean kafelim hakigigas? Kafelim hakigigas means we were so overwhelmed with the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we didn't have a choice. It's like a child says, "Oh, Dad, you're the most amazing person in the world." I'm sure some of you have little children, or some of you were little children, and you thought your father's mamish, and then you get a little older. So kafel hakigigas is meir. It's fair. It's not choice. Hada kiblu man, or kimlu kiblu. What does it mean? It's ma'as hanes. It was ava. Ava means that we're choosing. Choosing means that we're deciding that we want to be in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That it's panel. It can be an Ezer, it can be connected. Ezer means I choose to be in a relationship with you. This is why tainuk tmidi is ain't a tainuk. Hashem says that tainuk tmidi ain't a tainuk. A tainuk that's tmidius, pleasure that's always there, is not tainuk. What brings tainuk? What brings pleasure? Something that's unusual. That it could be connected, and you're choosing to be Ezer. That's panim upanim. This is what happens in Purim. So how does this work? So Kutchabrichu v'shchintei are a v'china of Acharayim. They're connected, and the world is functioning. The Eibusha wants, Hashem wants that we should be in a relationship, and that we should choose, and we should connect. And it should be dafka the makabel, not just the mashpia, the makabel should be present. But to get from panim al panim, or acher ba'acher to panim al panim, just like the story of Adar, in order to get to this madrega, you had to go through tadema, had to go through sleep, which is in the fila, which is the sira, something that happens that seems to be, two people are attached. Two things are attached together. You want to get them to face to face. You have to separate them. So the process of separating them, it seems like there's separation. When there's separation, there's a possibility for, we don't know. Just like, for example, a child. A child is in a cheder, you have a little boy, a girl, sitting and learning, everything's beautiful. And then they become a teenager. And all of a sudden they're a teenager, you have Siyat Nishmaya, and then everything works out. But then sometimes it's a little more difficult. Because the child says, how? Who said this is the right thing to do? And starts challenging you. This is the Nesira when it's moving from Acher B'Acher to Panim Apanim. This is the severing. This is the Tardema. This is the slumber. This is the sleep. So when it said the Rishon went to sleep, so Haman said, Yeshna Amechad, B'fuzim B'fayred, so that brings down B'Shem HaMedrash. And Yeshna Amechad means a Lakewood Shel Yisrael Yashnu. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Kutshabrichu Kaviyachul is sleeping. What does it mean that he was sleeping? Ari says that he was and Homer was astrological. He was a great astrologist. He understood things. What did he understand? He understood that if Klal Yisrael is going through a hard time, and it's between the Churban Bayis Rishon and the Binyan Bayis Sheni, it's a time of slumber. It's a time of Yashon. And Kutshabrichu Kaviyachul is Yashon. And that's why kids that are teenagers struggle. Why are they struggling? Why do teenagers struggle so much? Because they're trying to find themselves. Because they don't have the Acher B'Acher relationship with their parents anymore. But they don't have a Panim Apanim relationship with their parents either. That hasn't yet emerged. And in the in-between place, which is the place in the Sira, is the place that could be tremendous downfall and tremendous hardship. So Lakeim Shel Yisrael Yashnu, this is the time of the story of Purim, is that there was a Nesira. But the tachlis of the Nesira, the tachlis of the separation, that Kutshabrichu Kaviyachal went to sleep, like Adam and Chava, that Adam goes to sleep so Chava can emerge, that the Mashpia goes to sleep so the Makabel can rise. The tachlis is that it should be Panim Apanim Dibur, that we should be in a relationship. But the relationship should be now real. It's real. It's no longer because my father told me, my mother told me, my Rebbe told me, Rosh Hashiva told me. But now the relationship that I have with Hashem is Ezer Kenegdoi. I'm choosing to be in relationship. I don't have to be, there's no social pressure. And that's not the reason why I'm choosing to come to daven. That's the reason why I'm choosing to learn. I'm choosing to live like a Yid because I want to be in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because I want to show up. And there he writes that B'shasa Nesira, the time of the separation, Kutshabrichu severs from Shchinte, the world still functions. So if the chayes of Kutshabrichu, of Shchinte, comes from Kutshabrichu, and Kutshabrichu is no longer giving any chayes to Shchinte, so how does the world function? Says Dari that now, Bisman HaChoyshe, Bisman HaGolus, when Kutshabrichu Kaviyachal was sleeping, the chayes that Shchinte receives is from even higher, from Moichem, from Abba V'Ima. And what does that mean? That means, you know what it means to see Kutshabrichu B'Shchinte? You know what it means in life to recognize the connection Kutshabrichu B'Shchinte? It means that sometimes you're going through life and you're going through whatever you're going through. And in the place that you're going through, you say, Hava Hakara, I see that Hashem's hand is guiding this. I don't understand. I don't understand why I'm going through this challenge. I don't understand why everything's happening, but I know that there's a reason, and I can see the reason. And if I'm a little bit even more zoicha to that, I can actually see it. I can see the reason. There's a word that says, "Akoyres Megillah Mafreya Leyatza." It says in the Mishnah. The simple pshat in the Mishnah means, "Akoyres Megillah Mafreya" means you read it backwards. Well, why would a person read the story of Megillah backwards? It says, "Kidu the Torah of Al Shem." It's Akoyres Megillah Mafreya means someone that reads the story of the Megillah that happened years ago. The Mafreya, there was once an Esther, there was once Achashverosh, once Mordechai. To me, it's not a get. The reason why I'm celebrating because it happened thousands of years ago. Ma'aseh says the Baal Shem Lo Yatzu. Akoyres Megillah Mafreya Lo Yatzu. You have to understand that the Megillah is happening right now, and you're Mordechai, and you're Haman, and you're Shushan, and you're all the people of the Megillah, and all the places in the Megillah, and the Kudah, every single Kudah of the Megillah is a part of you. There's a part of you that wants to self-destruct, and there's a part of you that has clarity, and there's a part of you that wants to go into serious nefesh. And there's all different types of parts of you. This is the story of your life. So Switzer once said, "Akoyres Megillah Mafreya." Pshat is, most people, when they live their life forward, but they understand that life backwards. You live life forward, understand backwards. Which means, I'm living life right now. I don't understand what's going on. I don't know why I'm married to this person. I don't know why these are my children. I don't know why I live in Lakewood. But then, L'mafreya, I look back and say, so that's the reason why I married this person. And that's the reason these are my children. That's the reason Hashem and Tzaddik Gover, the Eibusher wanted me to live in this particular place. So you understand your life backwards. That's the way most people live, right? That's already Madrigan, because at least you're understanding. Some people go through life and they don't understand. And some people they just take a few minutes and say, what's going on? Why am I talking here? Why am I living here? And so, for this reason. Say the Chassidus Rabbis, that Akoyres Megillah Mafreya Lo Yatzu. If you live your life forward and only understand it backwards, Lo Yatzu. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Akoyres Megillah Mafreya, it's not, don't learn the Mafreya. The Mafreya, I see, looking backwards, I can say, that makes sense. You have to be clear with Megillah in the Hoiva, not in the Mafreya. You have to try to see the intention and the kavanah and the hashgacha, not the Mafreya, not like b'diavad. B'diavad, this is what happens, so this I understand that it has to happen. But the chachila, if I'm living here, there's a kavanah here. I have to make sure I use this kavanah. If these are my children, this is my wife, this is my family, it means this I have to do something here. There's a tachmas over here. And if our prayer is a Megillah Mafreya Lo Yatzu, this is already a schus. This is already nitziyat d'shmaya, that a person should be able to open their eyes and able to see this, to see the hashgacha, to see the intention. The Rosh Chachma writes that simcha is directly connected to seeing the hashgacha. The more a person sees the hashgacha in their life, the more simcha they have, the more joy they have. Because they see things. Says, okay, this makes sense. Therefore I'm joyful. And I'm grateful. And I'm thankful. But sometimes I have experiences in life. The Kuchabircha Kaviyachal is asleep. Lakeim Sheiso Yashno. That you don't see the oil. You don't see the oil of Zohar Amkum. You don't see the oil of Kuchabircha in the Shechina, in the Shechenes, in the Chalbeshas, in all the difficult parts of your life. Says the Ari, that you should know that nothing can exist without chayas. So if Kuchabircha is asleep, Shechinta needs another chayas, otherwise the world will disappear. And where does the chayas come from? From Yesod Abba, it comes from a place of Chachma. And what does that mean in our lives? That means Emunah. Emunah means I don't understand, and I don't see it, but I have complete trust this is exactly the way it should be. And when a person lives this way, the Arizal writes, Shagavona, something very interesting. The Ari writes that Purim is higher than all Yom Tov. That everyone knows. Because it says, Kol HaMoed HaMasil is battle. Chutz in Purim, Chanukah, to verse 5. That the oil that comes down, the oil that came down, the light that came down in the story of Purim, which is that Lakewood Sheisol Yoshinu, but the Chayes came down from Abba, you say Abba, which means from Chachma, from a higher Madrega, the Moichin, which is clarity that comes down. This stays even when Zohar Ampin wakes up. Which means that even after there's a Chazorah, the Zohar Ampin eventually gets up, and there's a Panam upon the Zohar Ampin, Kucharich and Shchimte, there's still an aura of Yisod Abba, which that means a very, very practical life, because this can be very, very high Madregas. Talking about high Madregas and you don't understand what you're saying is Stam Dvar B'Telem. It means that even when the clarity comes in and the understanding comes in, you still have the Dveikus of Emunah. You still have the Dveikus of Emunah. Because Emunah is Dveikus. Emunah is Dveikus. Emunah is not belief. Emunah means that I experience it. I feel close. I feel connected. Even when I'm going through hard times in my life, even when it feels difficult, there's a Anoichi Hashem Elokecha by Matan Torah. That's one Anoichi that was revealed. Anoichi Hashem Elokecha Matan Torah was revealed. That's Acha Ba'acher. But this is Galus, this is revealing, this is Man Nevuah. It was clear. It's clear. If you had a Shaila and you didn't know what to do, you asked Moshe Rabbeinu what he says. Let me hear what Hashem has to say on his hands. It's clarity. It's Nevuah. But that is a time that we live today that we don't have this Nevuah. And we don't have this spiritual clarity. But we should know that even if we don't have that clarity, maybe, we have something deeper. Because the Oyer Purim is not the Anoichi Hashem Elokecha. It's Anoichi Aster Aster. It's the same Anoichi. It's the same Anoichi. But it's the Anoichi that says that for me to be to you, nothing has to change. I can be in the place of your Astara. And I can be in the place of your darkness. I just need you to open your eyes and be connected to me. And you recognize that I'm there. Sometimes people want to feel the presence of Hashem. They want to feel connected when it's lichtig. It's easier. It's lichtig. You're davening Yishmak, you're learning Yishmak, you feel the oil, and you're feeling connected. Then you're walking down the street and nothing's happening. There's this drudgery. And the oil of Purim, the light that comes down in Purim, is the Anoichi Aster. Esther Natoy Renayim. That the Anoichi Aster, that the Anoichi is in the Astara. And even in the place of the Choshech, Hashem is saying, I'm with you. And I know that you know this. I need you to open yourself up to this awareness. And then we can have a Panam relationship. Because Panam relationship means that I'm not going to overwhelm you with my presence. Because when you overwhelm another person with your presence, it becomes Acha B'Acha. Right? Because if you're so overwhelming and so dominant in the relationship, if you're the mashpia in the relationship and you're such, I don't know, some of you are probably married. Hopefully, I don't want you to get married because of Hashem. And sometimes you're so overwhelming in the presence of overwhelming the other person that the person doesn't feel themselves. They're like, okay, whatever you say, I'm just in a cowl. So sometimes the tzimtzum, the contraction of the mashpia, allows for the makabel to actually be present. Kaviyach Davish is saying the reason why there is no nisim geluyim, and the reason why there is no nevuah any longer, is not a chesaron. It's not a golus, and that's the chesaron. But ba'omek, the reason why I am hiding my face is because I want you to show up. Because I spoke for 1,000 years. Now, the next 1,000 years, I want you to talk. We're having a conversation. We're in dialogue. David says, I'm going to download for 1,000 years. On Moshe, on Nevi'im, until the end of the Churban Bayis Yishon. Even until Chag HaZayim Malach, until the beginning of Bayis Sheni. Then the Ibn says, and then it's going to come for you. Now what do you have to say? This is Torah Shabbat Peh. Torah Shabbat Peh, the beginning of Torah Shabbat Peh is the story of Purim. That's why Esther, Dafke Esther, the Makabel, not the Mashpia, not Mordechai, not the Navi, not the person Anshe Knesset Agdoilo. Dafke Esther says, Kavuni L'Doyres, Kasvuni L'Doyres. It's called Megillas Esther, not Megillas Mordechai. Because Esther, Dafke the Makabel, Dafke, that everything that's that a city that's surrounded by a wall, be Mois Yeshua. The Gemara says that Dafke Mois Yeshua was up Yeshua. So the Yerushalmi says because there was a churban, so you want to remember the base of the times, very Yisrael. But the Pnimius, the reason is because it's Pnei Achama, it's Pnei Alavana. Pnei Achama is Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the Mashpia, is the Navi, and then is Yeshua. Yeshua is the beginning of Torah Shabbat, Pnei Alavana. This is what the Oyer Purim. The Oyer Purim is Hashem's telling us, show up. I showed up. And I talk to you, now I want you to tell me what you have to say. I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in a panim relationship. It's real. It's not acher ba'acher. I'm not going to overwhelm you with my presence. It's dafke the tzimtzum, dafke the contraction, dafke the HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, I don't want to appear as an Oich Hashem Lekecha. I don't want to shitzeich about his Mitzrayim. I don't want to take you out of Mitzrayim. I want to be the Makam HaChaysha, where you are. I want to encounter you because I need you to show up. And this is the Oyer Purim. The Oyer Purim is that we can celebrate, we upon him, we can choose. Ma'ava, for love, because we want to be in a relationship with him. L'chaim, l'chaim,